I want to expand a little bit on how I like set up dates. I didn't think I did a great job in the last video of going over how I set up dates to have sex on the first date. Like, because this is something that I do naturally. Like, I don't really think about it much anymore. I don't put a lot of planning into it. I don't also really go out with the intention of sleeping on the first date, but it happens more often than not with the dates I go on because my profile is very like I'm down for hookups, and then I say on the messages that I send out that I'm only looking for casual relationships, things like that. So like a lot of the girls I meet are already kind of pre-screened as being like open to casual relationships, and typically it's not going to be worth it to date like 3 times or something like that before we have sex. So I also thought I'd go over like how that works in practice, like step by step. And even though I don't really do it step by step, I can still look back and see that there's pretty much uniformity between like everything. So first things first, clean your flat, and you have no excuse not to do this before you go out. You want to remove all excuses in your head for not inviting them back. And cleaning the flat is the huge one. Like if my flat's tidy and untidy, I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to invite her back. It's untidy. It's like, no, clean your flat. You have no excuse not to invite them back on the date. Just clean it. The reason you don't want to invite them back is because you're scared to. So just clean the flat. The other one is having wine in the flat as well. Like it's a reason to go back. So you always say, hey, do you want to get a drink at my place? Or like, this is going really well. Do you want to come have a drink at my place? And then they say yes, then it's on usually. If they say no, no worries. Let's have a second date. That's how it happens. That's literally the only move I ever do. Is do you want to come back for wine? I don't know if I don't escalate physically, keno, all that nonsense. No, I don't even touch them on the date usually. I don't go for a kiss in the bar, anything like that, unless like things, it's going really well and the vibe and then we're vibing and she starts like initiating contact in the bar. That's when I start like, yeah, I'll reciprocate contact. But typically it's all about inviting back. So I make sure that I've got wine, the flat is spotlessly clean, or at least clean enough that I would invite them back. And this is all for my own sake of mind. Like it's all to stop me making excuses later on. Then we typically go to a bar that I've picked, which is close to my flat, like within 20 minutes walking distance. If they want to go somewhere in particular in the city and I can probably get like an Uber for 10 minutes, I'll do that as well. But typically I want to try and get them to a bar near my flat. So it's like an easy walk. Like the logistics are just much easier to get back. As I said, kind of screening on the date, like just to check that they are who they say they are, first of all. They haven't catfished me. I check to make sure they are open for casual relationships. I've met a few girls now, especially in the city I live in at the moment, where it's like they said they were up for a casual relationship and then we met and they were like, oh, I'm really looking for a boyfriend. Usually that's like, okay, no, sorry. I'm not getting involved with someone who isn't honest about what they want and then says something different when I meet up. And I'm also not interested in someone necessarily who's got that in the back of their head that they're doing the casual thing as like a stepping stone to a relationship. It's like, nah, sorry. Like I was very explicit about what I'm after. Anyway, so if we vibe, she passes like that kind of like screening. Yeah, we'll go for like an hour usually. I really like dates, so I'm not one of those guys who's like, okay, let's go after like 10 minutes of like one drink. Like, no, I will like if I'm enjoying someone's company, I will stretch a date for like 2 hours. I think that the longest date I remember before we ended up back at her place actually was like 6 hours, and I ended up. She lived like an hour and a half away. This is in Australia, so living an hour and a half outside of a city is not even that crazy. But yeah, it was like got on a train with her like an hour and a half out the city after about 6 hours of drinking. That was pretty crazy. I have some crazier times back in the days. I don't really do that kind of stuff anymore. I value my sleep, and one night like that will fuck up my sleep for like 4 days. So yeah, we're vibing. I invite her back. We walk back, get into my flat. I pour some wine. We talk for like another, probably like a little bit more, like 15, 20 minutes. And then at some point I will make a move to kiss her and see where we're standing with that kind of thing. Because sometimes people have also come back and not been down to sleep with me, which is completely fine. And I will just be like, oh, no worries. We will have another couple of drinks and then I'll take them outside and get a cab. But most of the time when you start making out with them, it's pretty easy to escalate. Well, escalate's the wrong word. You just make out with them and then you move it to the bedroom and then you know how to do the rest, I assume. So that's really straightforward, like step by step, how simple it is. There's no intrigue, no like pickup artistry. That is normal dating. That is just, it's really simple. The only thing I would say is like the first few times you go on these kind of dates, you may not like be relaxed. And eventually after like a lot more experience of dating, you will be more relaxed in the crunch situations, like asking them to come back, like making the move in the flat. As I said, I don't make any like Hail Mary moves like outside on the date. Like you don't need to kiss her in the bar for you to like I've had plenty of girls who I haven't touched them at all until they've come back with me. So yeah, I don't think you need to do anything like crazy kino escalating in the bars. That's my biggest misconception. I think that needs to be put out there. All right, that was date to back at my place. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.